Shamash. My name is Borat. I like you. I like sex. It's nice.
More than any other brand of movie sequel, the comedy sequel has the roughest go of it. In an attempt to try and make the same joke seem funny again, we're often forced to watch as genuinely funny people try way too hard and inevitably make you question if the first go-around was even funny to begin with. Now the time has come for yet another brave challenger, the unexpected to the 2006 smash hit Borat, to step up and try and prove that, yes, Sacha Baron Cohen, dressing up in a grey suit and adopting an Eastern European accent while pranking unsuspecting Americans is still funny.
Nice.
Perhaps more than the unwatchable sequels to comedies like Dumb and Dumber and Zoolander, Borat's subsequent movie film has a lot working against it. Not only is the element of surprise gone, with everyone and their cousins knowing who Cohen's Borat is from a mile out, but those same people and their same cousins likely still think saying high five with a Borat accent should still net them a laugh. How do you take a cat's out of the bag premise and run into the ground catchphrases and try to make them funny again? The answer is, you're probably not going to, as evident by the very beginning of the movie. We find Borat forced to work in a labor camp after his first movie made his home of Kazakhstan a joke, and Cohen tries to get the obvious out of the way with his character saying, via voiceover, a series of his catchphrases all in a row. While this might be Cohen trying to take his catchphrases and sort of nip them in the bud, all it really does is hint we're in for a bit of a struggle for the next 90 minutes or so. Filmed in secret earlier this year amidst the beginning of the COVID-19 outbreak, Borat is brought out of the workforce and sent back to America so he can gift Vice President Mike Pence with his country's greatest star, a monkey who has starred in numerous porn films. But hitching a ride this time is his 15-year-old daughter, Tutar, played by Maria Bakalova, who has before spent her life living in a barn watching a makeshift Disney princess movie about Melania Trump. Borat, hesitant to bring a girl along, agrees, and thus they're off to accomplish their mission of trying to get in the good graces of the current presidential administration, and maybe to get people to embarrass themselves along the way. One major factor before doing so is Cohen having to acknowledge everyone knows who Borat is, and therefore must implement a series of disguises in order to go undercover. This is where the sequel's problems start. On a surface level, this means that about 50% of the time, the character we're seeing across all the awkward, sometimes wild moments is not Borat. It feels like Borat 0.5, with the other half consisting of characters akin to Cohen's recent comedy series, Who is America? Except there, Cohen developed a series of colorful characters, got people off their guard, and was able to prank people via the characters' unique personas. Here, he's playing Borat, who's himself playing a character in disguise, so of course, it comes off about as funny as a man who's just a really bad actor. This means that even simple interview segments sometimes fall flat, and big prank segments where uptight Americans are meant to be in compromising positions often swing for the fences and miss completely. That doesn't mean every bit can't have funny moments, given how Cohen is too gifted an actor to leave a situation with absolutely nothing. But with every moment where not even a chuckle is warranted, it becomes more and more evident what the problem is. It's not only that people may recognize Cohen and what he's trying to do, but rather that we are in an age where when people come in with cameras and begin acting strange, you start to watch your own behavior. We're all so used to the idea anyone can be filming anything at any time that it's no surprise that people aren't quite giving the responses they may have 14 years ago. Therefore, Cohen, and by extension Bakalova, can sometimes abandon any nuance or subtlety as they try to go big with certain gags to get a response. When they manage to get results, they can sometimes be riotous. But when they don't, it's not the kind of awkward that makes for good comedy. Also working against Cohen and director Jason Wolnier, taking over for Larry Charles, who did the first film, is the lack of purpose behind bringing the character back out again. The first time around was meant to shine a light on America's inherent prejudices towards anyone who looks like an other. This time around, it seems to be about nothing. Yes, Borat manages to put conspiracy theory touting Trump voters on blast and make them look like right fools, which is never not entertaining. But the fact is, these people get put on blast all the time across social media. So while watching Borat dance around a Trump voter's house with a dildo attached is admittedly funny, it's also swinging at low-hanging fruit. What does save the story, and in fact makes it for better viewing if you acknowledge it as the primary purpose for the sequel, is how it means to grow Borat as a character by having him connect with his daughter. Across their travels, she becomes increasingly aware of what freedoms women have here compared to what false information her daughter's manual has been feeding her whole life. Bakalova is a tremendous talent and makes an excellent supporting player alongside Cohen, and does just as well when they're apart, and she does the job of making you care about where her arc is taking her and how that makes Borat change for the better. While the first movie has no shortage of sweetness, the sequel's greatest strength is in Borat and his daughter's relationship. And it's in these moments together where you can tell Cohen and the half-dozen screenwriters credited were trying to do more with the character beyond putting him in silly interviews. Primed for release so close to our own presidential election, there's the inescapable expectation something shocking is meant to happen that puts a certain politician or politicians in a bad light. And for the most part, the movie doesn't live up to any of those expectations. Most of the people subjected to the weirder gags are the normal citizens you would have seen in the first movie, and even then, it's hard to pick out any particular moment that truly stands out. If the release strategy does hint at something, it's that Cohen and distributor Amazon Studios felt one moment, in general, could be enough to have some sort of relevant shock value, without alluding to what this moment is, and say it is indeed worth sitting through the movie just to experience what nightmare fuel they have in store for you. Whereas other comedy sequels might offer a chuckle or two amidst an overall embarrassing display, Borat's subsequent movie film is admittedly better than it could be, even if it's still a shadow of its predecessor. Cohen is too gifted to not make what he's doing at least a mostly entertaining ride, and there is a solid amount of sweetness that gives it a core. But simply put, time has not been kind to the premise. With his series Who is America, Cohen may have finally done the last of what he could when it comes to having people make asses of themselves on camera, exposing the world to who they really are. Here, he does what he can to have some fun and get some big laughs, sometimes with his genius very much on display, but this go around, we're going to have to replace
Very nice
with very fine. That's why I'm giving Borat's subsequent movie film a very fine 5 out of 10.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry to inform you, but that's what the telegram says.
High five.
My name is Matt Rooney. Be sure to stay tuned to JOBLO for more reviews.